It hits you in the most unexpected moment. The sudden realization that if you don't rise now, if you don't choose yourself now, life will move on without waiting for your readiness. And there is nothing more terrifying than waking up one day and realizing you lost everything you could have become simply because you let your feelings decide your fate. And as this truth flashes through your chest like lightning, carving open a midnight sky, you stop scrolling. You freeze, because some part of you knows that this is the moment you've needed. The moment that calls you out gently, but firmly, whispering that your entire life could change if you just choose consistency over comfort, discipline over mood, purpose over passing emotion. And as those words echo through your mind, you feel the weight of all the times you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow." All the times you let exhaustion win. All the times you let fear disguise itself as logic. All the times you said you'd wait for motivation to return. Not realizing that motivation is not the fire itself, it's the spark, and the fire only grows when you show up even after the spark has gone out. When the world is quiet and your heart feels heavy and everything inside you wants to collapse back into the softness of excuses you've polished into habits over years of survival. Because consistency doesn't demand that you feel good. It demands that you show up even when you feel broken, uncertain, uninspired, or painfully human. And we've all been there. We've all had those mornings when the alarm feels like an aggression, when your dreams feel too far away to matter, when your responsibilities feel like a cage, and your failures replay on loop like a mocking soundtrack. But there's a hidden truth buried in those mornings. A truth most people never uncover because they never stay long enough in the discomfort to see it. And the truth is this: the days you don't feel like showing up are the days that define you far more than the days when energy comes easily. Because consistency is forged in the moments when nobody sees you. When there's no applause, no validation, no guarantee that your effort will pay off. Yet something inside you decides to move anyway, step by trembling step, and that movement, small, imperfect, stubborn, becomes the quiet revolution that reshapes your identity from the inside out. And maybe you know this already. Maybe you've tasted both sides of yourself. The you that rises and the you that retreats. The you that promises and the you that postpones. The you that dreams and the you that doubts. And somewhere between these versions of you is the story you don't tell. The one filled with nights staring at ceilings, questioning whether you're even capable of becoming the person you pretend to be, wondering why your heart wants more than your habits support, why your soul keeps whispering that you're meant for something beyond survival, while your routines keep pulling you back into patterns that shrink you. But let's pause here, because this tension you feel isn't a flaw. It's the very proof that you're alive, that you still care, that something within you refuses to let your potential die unnoticed. And as you sit with that, you start to realize that consistency is not about perfection, nor is it about never falling apart. It's about honoring the promise you made to your future self, even when the present self feels weak, tired, overwhelmed, or tempted to surrender. And the beautiful, complicated thing about human beings is that we rarely act according to what's best for us. We act according to how we feel, and feelings, while meaningful, are erratic storytellers, shaping entire narratives in minutes, turning temporary emotions into permanent decisions, convincing you that discomfort is danger, that effort is exhaustion, that waiting for the right moment is wisdom, when in truth it's just fear wearing a polished mask. And if you trace your life back, you'll find countless moments when you trusted your feelings more than your future, when the easier choice became the default choice, when delay felt harmless even though deep down you knew it wasn't. Because every time you delay what matters, you reinforce the version of yourself that settles. And every time you show up, no matter how you feel, you reinforce the version that grows. And that is the psychology of transformation. You do not need to feel ready to become who you want to be. You need only to act as if your future self is watching, because they are, in a way, waiting for you on the other side of every delayed decision. Every skipped commitment, every moment you choose comfort over progress. And if you could hear their voice, it would break you and heal you at once. They would tell you that they're proud of you every time you tried, every time you dragged yourself through the day despite the heaviness, every time you doubted yourself but still refused to quit, every time you attempted to change even when change felt impossible. But they would also tell you that the life you ache for will never be. Built on the shaky foundation of momentary emotion, it will only be built on the bedrock of consistency. The kind of consistency that doesn't ask whether you feel like it. The kind that doesn't negotiate with fatigue or insecurity. The kind that shows up because the mission matters more than the mood. And maybe you're thinking, but I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, I'm struggling. And that's real, that's valid, that's human. But here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Your exhaustion is not a sign that you should quit. It's a sign that you've been fighting battles alone, silently, without acknowledging your own strength. And the fact that you're still here, still listening, still searching for a reason to keep going, means you have not been defeated, only delayed in. There is a world of difference between the two. Because defeat ends your story, but delay reshapes it, deepens it, strengthens it. And in those delays, you learn resilience, patience, humility, awareness, and grit. All of which become the fuel for becoming unstoppable. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a quiet, consistent way. The kind that builds empires brick by invisible brick. Until one day, people look at you and say, "How did you become this version of yourself?" Without ever seeing the nights you pushed through tears, the mornings you pushed through doubt, the routines you followed when nobody believed in you, the habits you built when nobody applauded you, and the small daily victories that never made it to social media but changed everything. And if you've ever wondered why your progress feels slow, why your path feels lonely, why your motivation comes and goes like weather, it's because the universe is asking you to evolve from someone who depends on feeling good to someone who depends on showing up. And that shift, subtle yet seismic, is the moment your life pivots. Because from that point on, you stop waiting for inspiration and start generating it. You stop seeking permission and start granting it. You stop asking life to give you energy and start creating energy through motion. Because motion itself is magic. Once you begin, even in the smallest way, your mind recalibrates, your body awakens, your spirit remembers that it was built for momentum, and every step you take becomes evidence that you are capable of more than you thought. And this turns into a cycle. Effort creates clarity. Clarity creates motivation. Motivation creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. But it all begins with the first step taken on a day when you didn't feel like it. And if you can master that, you unlock the greatest secret of success. Consistency is emotional independence. The ability to act beyond how you feel. And when you learn that, you stop being controlled by the storms inside you and start becoming the lighthouse that stands tall, no matter how dark the sky becomes. Because real strength is not loud, it is not dramatic, it is not always visible. It is the quiet decision made repeatedly to keep moving forward when the world gives you every reason to stop. And maybe today, right now, this moment is your turning point. The moment you decide that you will no longer allow temporary emotions to sabotage permanent progress, that you will no longer shrink because you feel low, that you will no longer define your worth by your mood, because you are more than your mind. On a bad day, you are more than your fear on a tough morning. You are more than your doubt on a difficult night. And you deserve the life that consistency builds, the life where you trust yourself, where you follow through with your promises, where you break cycles instead of repeating them, where you wake up after months of effort and finally see the evidence of your discipline reflected in your reality. where you breathe deeper because your life finally aligns with your intentions. And when you reach that moment, you'll realize that all the days when you didn't feel like showing up were the days that mattered the most. Because those were the days when you carved the unshakable version of yourself. The you that cannot be manipulated by mood. The you that keeps going, no matter the storm. The you that understands that greatness is not born from perfect conditions, but from imperfect effort made consistently. And so here's the shift. From today on, let your feelings be guests, not rulers. Welcome them, listen to them, learn from them. But do not let them decide your destiny, because your destiny deserves the steady hand of discipline, not the fragile grip of fluctuating emotion. And every time you show up, despite how you feel, you honor the future you're building. And every time you choose consistency over mood, you cast a vote for the person you are becoming. And those votes accumulate, quietly, powerfully, until one day you wake up and realize that you didn't just change your habits, you changed your identity. And once your identity changes, your life follows effortlessly. Because then, consistency isn't something you force, it's something you are, and the world begins to respond to that version of you. Opportunities open, clarity grows, relationships deepen, and life begins to mirror your inner evolution. And if you're hearing this now, understand that this is not motivation, this is permission. Permission to keep going, even when it hurts. Permission to move slowly if you must. Permission to be human without quitting. Permission to rebuild without shame. Permission to become the person your future depends on. And if any part of your soul is stirring, rising, awakening as these words enter you, then trust that, because it means you're ready. It means the timing is right. It means you're standing at the edge of a chapter you've waited your entire life to enter. And all that's left is the decision to step forward, not perfectly, not fearlessly, but consistently. And if you do, I promise you this, your life will transform in ways you cannot yet imagine. And one day, you'll look back on this exact moment and whisper, "That was the day everything began to change." And when that day comes, I hope you remember that it wasn't motivation that saved you. It was consistency, the quiet, unwavering act of showing up, no matter how you feel. And as you carry this forward, know that you're not alone. There are millions of people trying to learn the same lesson, fighting the same battles, trying to rebuild themselves from the inside out. And every time you rise, you give them permission to rise too, because consistency is contagious. Discipline is contagious. Resilience is contagious. And your effort, even when invisible, has a ripple effect that touches more lives than you realize. As we reach this final moment together, breathe deeply, hold this truth close, and know that you are capable, you are worthy, and you are stronger than the storms inside you. And if this message resonates with you, if it stays with you long after the video ends, I'd be honored to have you stay connected, because here, on Elevation Insights, you're not just watching, you're growing, evolving, rising, one consistent step at a time.